All Blacks have been named then to play Argentina, and yes, there are significant changes. I'll run through the team, run through 15. De Groot, Taylor, Lomax, those three pick themselves. At lock, Tupu Vai is the senior lock. Sam Darry comes in because Patrick Tuipulotu is injured. In actual fact, there were 4 players who weren't considered for injury, and they were Scott Barrett, of course, the captain, Luke Jacobson, Perifetta, and Patrick. Ethan Blackadder, who played 7 against Fiji, comes in at 6. Dalton Papali'i keeps the 7 jersey, and I think he's pretty lucky to, as a matter of fact. If Sam Cane is fit and firing, I would have had him in that jersey. Adi Savira is the captain at 8. TJ Perenara, as Justin predicted yesterday, comes back at 9. Damien McKenzie at 10. Midfield change. Geordie Barrett stays at 12, but Anton Leonard-Brown comes in at 13, ahead of Rico. The wings are still Mark Talaia, Sevu Reece and Bowden Barrett at fullback. So on the bench, you've got Asofo Omoa, Offa Tuangafasi, Fletcher Newell, Josh Lord, Wallace Satiti, Cortez Aratima, Rico Ioane, and Will Jordan. Scott Robertson at the press conference. In no particular order, but we'll kick it off with the thinking among the selectors about the changes at lock.
Yeah, obviously with Patrick, I had a calf injury, so Sam comes in and Josh Lord's come back from a couple of games, so perfect timing for us. You know, there's some fresh blood coming through with the second rows, the locks, and, you know, Sam's been impressive since he's come in, and Josh has, you know, worn the black jersey before, and he'll get straight up to the mark and standard.
Expanding on that, how do you assess where our locking stocks are at the moment following the retirements of Sam Whitelock and Brodie Retallick?
Oh, it's exciting. I think it's exciting. We've got a big 6'8" lock coming in, and a 6'9" lock on the bench, and are good athletes, and you know, when someone retires, someone gets an opportunity, and it's their opportunity. So we set them up the best we can to perform, and they've done it themselves as well. They've owned the role and the opportunity this week, and now it's Saturday night with a performance, so they can, you know, keep their jersey.
Great response from Scott Robertson, I think, there. And that's the best thing he could possibly have said. You know, fill them full of confidence. Hell, I mean, we can't look backwards. Sam, Brodie, Sam. We've got to look forward, and this is who we've got at the moment. And we are weak in that department, and when I say weak, I just mean weak in that we lack experience. If it was Patrick Tuipulotu and Tupu Vai, I would still say that we're not strong in that department because, as I said yesterday, I don't believe that either of those two guys are in the top 10 locks in the world. Now we've got a new man, and exactly what Razor says. I mean, here's your opportunity. They're big lads, and we need height, serious height. What was the thinking about Anton Leonard-Brown coming in at centre?
Yeah, we talked. This is for the best team for this Test match against Argentina. Look, had a conversation with Rico, and it's a competitive position. You know, we've got 2 or 3 guys now that we can pick, players that we can pick, and you know, it's a performance-based sport, and you know, everyone's got areas to work on, and I've gone with Anton.
I want you to play that one again, because do you pick up, people, what I'm picking up on? It's the very last thing that he says. It's a performance-based sport. Give us that one again.
Yeah, we talked. This is for the best team for this Test match against Argentina. Look, had a conversation with Rico, and it's a competitive position. You know, we've got 2 or 3 guys now that we can pick, players that we can pick, and you know, it's a performance-based sport, and you know, everyone's got areas to work on, and I've gone with Anton.
You're not playing well. That's him saying you're not playing well. Simple as that. Performance-based sport, areas to work on. You're not playing well enough. And what was the conversation he had with Rico? Pass the friggin' ball, mate. Changes it loose forward.
Yeah, Luke got a wee hamstring twinge during the week. So Ethan obviously comes into 6 after having, you know, a few games in a row and playing for Tasman. And he was robust as ever in that game. And then obviously Wallace, you know, we're really pleased with him. He had a great 20-odd minutes that he had in San Diego, and he gets to go again and have a bit of continuity for him and play Test footy regularly.
So is that Sam Penny with a hamstring twinge? Is that what he means when he says that at the beginning? Luke with a hamstring twinge.
He said Luke.
Sorry, I didn't actually catch that. So it's Luke Jacobson.
I'll butt in and say one thing. It was a very short quote, so I didn't pull it off, but he does say that Sam Penny just wasn't selected. That's
Right.
all. That's all he says about.
That's all he says about? Okay.
Yep.
And he's not selected for a very good reason, because he was AWOL against England. That doesn't mean he's completely out. I hope it's not a similar situation to Peter Gus here, because I think this guy's got massive potential for the All Blacks, but yeah, he just played without any kind of confidence against England. You saw Will Jordan play on the weekend. How did he go? You thinking around that?
I saw a decent try, his trademark try, and anticipation off the ball. He's in good nick. He's fit. He's ready to go. Obviously, Bowden's been exceptional, and to have Will Jordan coming off the bench, making impacts, special, isn't it? So, a couple of guys and available around the 15 jersey is great.
Yeah, 50 minutes he played, Will Jordan, that pre-season hit out. Sevu and Mark Talia on the wings. Were you tempted at all to look at Caleb Clark?
Yeah, that was a long conversation. Real long conversation for all of us. Caleb took his opportunity, and so did the other two wings. So it's a balance of the two, but Caleb's right there. I'm really pleased with him, and it was fine margins on the call.
I think that, could easily have been Caleb Clark stepping in there on the left wing, because that's, again, an area where I just think against England we just didn't have the bulk. Two wingers who are really tricky, good steppers, all of that kind of stuff, good pace. I mean, Talia's a strong guy, but he's not Caleb Clark. He didn't hang four on the back, does he? Finally, how important that the players know how competitive it is around selections?
I think it's important. Look, I've always mentioned, my job is to create a depth in the squad and the All Black team, so guys can step in, get them so they're ready, and to create depth you need to create competition. To create competition you need to to train hard and take opportunities when they're given, and it is a competitive market at the moment in the team, and the guys are stepping up to it.
The 2-minute drill.
Well, if you can call 2 minutes, 7 minutes, Lachlan. I mean, let's not split hairs about this, but we will debate the All Black selections from now till news time.
We need to talk.
Let's debate.
We need to talk.
Let's talk about these changes that Scott Robertson has made.
Next!
ALB in for Rico. Is it a good call, or would you rather have seen Proctor there? Two parts to the question. First and foremost, did Rico have to be dropped?
Yes.
Yeah, no debate there at all. 30-something tests for the All Blacks. He's a great player, no question about that, but he hasn't shown how great he is in that position. And he continually makes the same errors every game. They're not handling errors. They're just errors that he's got blinkered vision. He doesn't see the outsides. We give up a lot of chances because he doesn't pass the ball. And the whole point about that role is it's a selfless role where you've got to be looking to set somebody else up.
Yeah, and he's spent his whole life, and it's not a criticism, it makes sense. He has spent his whole life playing a position that isn't about distribution, that isn't about setting up teammates. It's the opposite. You're on the receiving end of it as a winger.
Absolutely.
And as much as he has a game-breaking element to the way he plays, there's more to it than just that when you're playing in the midfield. And his form hasn't been good enough.
Text message. Afternoon, lads. I agree with you about Rico, but is ALB an improvement? I believe if we had better first five options, I'd put Bowden outside his brother. His acceleration off the mark would be great in that position. Not in this test match because Bowden hasn't played centre. Yeah, I have my doubts about Anton Leonard-Brown as well, and I would have liked to have seen Proctor. I think Anton Leonard-Brown is a bit like Rico to me. He's had a hell of a lot of chances and just hasn't really done enough. But hey, it's not my decision. TJ Perenara, the best number 9 in the country right now. Would you have started Cortez Ratima?
Personally, yes. I would have.
Same.
But I find it.
But you've got to look at the combination, Lachlan. 9 and 10, it's crucial, right? And that's in Cortez Ratima and Damien McKenzie are both really inexperienced at this level and playing.
Hold up.
No, I know they play for the Chiefs, but I'm talking about playing test matches together. It's a different beast, mate. Okay, so that's why TJ is in.
I would think. I get that, but TJ hasn't played a huge amount of rugby over the last couple of years. Yes, he was very good at Super Rugby level. I don't think he was the best halfback in the country. I think that we all got swayed.
But this is one of those All Black selectors' decisions where they're looking at test match experience. That's what it is.
Yeah, but if that was the case, then the squad for the Rugby Championship would have Finlay Christie in it instead of Noel Hotham, wouldn't it? Because then they would care more about experience.
Well, yeah, but Finlay Christie, they've already explained there's deficiencies in his game and he's lost his form. Ethan Blackadder in for Samapeni. Started at 7 versus Fiji. I've always felt with this guy that they will give him every opportunity they can if he's fully fit. He's kind of been rubber stamped, hasn't he, for a long time?
Well, he was under Ian Foster because in 2021, I get 2021 and 2022 mixed up a lot, but I'm pretty sure it was 2021. He was the starter at blindside. He played a lot of All Blacks rugby, particularly on the end of year tour. He played a little bit in the Rugby Championship, mainly on the end of year tour. And then injuries sort of started to occur a lot more, and that's just his issue through his whole career. It's a career hampered by injuries. But he, in the eyes of Scott Robertson now, and clearly Ian Foster beforehand, he is one of the better options at blindside flanker. And the key thing is, as much as Samipeni is beating people up at Super Rugby level with his crunching tackles, he's such a force, he did nothing against England. And I guess this kind of works in favour of Ethan Blackadder. He did play well against Fiji. It was only Fiji. But he did play well. So this is kind of... And it's a bit... I think it's the same with Antonina Brown.
Yeah,
that performance is being
exactly
rewarded.
Right. Yep.
So, but again, if Ethan Blackadder doesn't step up, then maybe Samipeni gets back in front of him for the South African tests.
Text message in from Murray Mexted. Mex says, Samipeni is 2 inches taller, 8 to 10 kgs heavier. Blackadder is an open side at All Black test level, in my opinion.
Next!
I like the fact he provides that extra height that Mex talks about as well. I don't think Samipeni's gone. But
No, it's not gone, no.
And let's always remember, it took Jerome a couple of years to get to be Jerome. It took Shannon Frizzell the best part of a couple of years before we finally saw the best of him in that number 6 position. Will Jordan is back, but he's only on the bench. Would you have started him?
I would have personally, again, if I was lucky enough to be the All Blacks coach, yes, I would have, but I understand why not. Because Beauden Barrett and Scott Robertson sort of answered it, I think they're in one of those quotes, that Beauden Barrett actually played quite well and essentially hasn't put a foot wrong to be demoted.
Exactly right. Yep.
So then Will Jordan kind of has to earn his spot back.
Will Jordan, is on form the best 15 in the world, even though we saw him on the wing and, playing brilliantly on the wing at the World Cup. But fullback is still his best position.
Well, he wasn't great in the final last year.
No, okay, well, yeah, but you could point the finger at a few people. I mean, about that. Plus, we were down to 12, and so he didn't get as many opportunities. But I also think that
14.
Down to 14 players, sorry. Beauden Barrett also, as you say, hasn't put a foot wrong and made a huge difference in that second test against England when he came on. So if you're looking at your argument, which is you've got to reward form and what they've seen, well, you've got to say keep him in that position.
And Will
But at the
Jordan,
same time, I agree with you saying if Jordan is fit to play the bloody guy.
But also if Beauden can make an impact coming off the bench, then a more lethal running, younger, quicker Will Jordan coming off the bench would also make a huge impact, you would assume.
Devlin. You better believe it. The platform.